So, ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to our next stellar lineup of visionaries in our next discussion. Please welcome Danny Xiang, founder and chairman of St. Bella Group, Ciara O'Shea, Global Director of Marketing and Communications at Soneva, one of the most iconic luxury resorts in the world, and Linda Petrie, Managing Director and founder of Petrie PR, a powerhouse in luxury communications. Moderating this panel is Man, who happens to be friends with everybody on stage, so get ready for a most dynamic conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give our panelists a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon. Hello, Danny. Hello, Linda. And hello, Ciara. Hi. Thank you so much.
Lovely to be here.
Thank you so much for coming today. And,
Thank you for having us.
The session is really reshaping luxury hospitality, leveraging digital tools and influencers to really create inclusive, accessible experiences that redefines luxury hospitality landscape by really harnessing digital innovations and authentic influencer partnerships to really reach a wider audience in a more personalized way. So before I begin, I'd like to ask you, Danny, of St. Bella. And we know that your involvement with St. Bella as a luxury postpartum care that has really gone global. Your brand really have collaborated and extended luxury's appeal to a lot of diverse audiences. You've sort of taken the Asian postpartum care, now gone all the way over to the US and all around the world. So can you tell us what you mean when you told my team that luxury is no longer just for the elite? It's about creating meaningful, accessible experiences that resonate globally through digital innovation and authentic voices. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, we see, for example, AI. We see AI not a replacement for care. It's actually an enabler for deeper and more human approach for services. For example, we have been collecting data from our customers who pay a fortune to stay with us. So all the data we've collected using big data, now we are enabling people who doesn't have the privilege to stay in a luxury confinement centers with us, but they're still able to receive the same care using their mobile phones. So this is something that we've been doing for the past year, and we have now been able to develop the most used AI agents in the world for newborns now. So pretty much all we wanted to be able to, for every mother, after giving birth, they would be able to download these AI agents and they will receive the same care as you've spent $500,000 with us. So that really, really helps us to expand not a physical space, but everybody. I think luxury is not a privilege for the elite. It should be for everyone. I appreciate this gentleman previously mentioned that luxury has different meaning for everybody. It means for us, for example, time is a luxury, but for many people, stay healthy is a luxury for them. So we are really trying to redefine luxury in a more standard way.
So for those that don't know, can you give a little bit of an explanation about St. Bella and your clients and how it relates to sort of luxury hotels? So just a summary.
Yeah, sorry about that. Let's go back to explain what we do. We are a luxury wellness service provider for luxury for ultra high net worth families. We were best known by providing postpartum care for families after giving birth. This is something that's been going on in Asia for thousands of years, and we've expanded that outside of postpartum care into wellness, also elderly care. So we are trying to provide a comprehensive, a cohesive luxury services for people who experience special moments in their life, and that's why we have combination with hotels. Is that we actually use hotel as a third place, where we actually provide those luxury services inside of a hotel, for example. So this is this great combination of hospitality experience plus healthcare services.
And your advocacy for standardized global postpartum protocols at the United Nations is truly inspiring. How do you see ethical AI and digital platforms shaping the future of sensitive care spaces in the hospitality industry?
It's a very interesting topic because I was spoken at the UN conference earlier this year, because postpartum care has been around in Asia for thousands of years, and for the thousands of years, Asian women was able to experience that and to help them to recover better after giving birth. So I was telling this concept at the United Nations in New York, and then I received a lot of overwhelming responses from especially women, ladies in Africa. They've never heard anything like that. It was pretty brutal, to be honest, after giving birth in those places. They'd come up to you, hey, it should not be a privilege for Asian ladies, right? So everyone in the world should be able to experience something like that. So we were really, really happy, and then we are doing a project with those African countries. We're helping the women there to get back into the shape better, and to help them to relieve their postpartum depressions. And recently, I think last week, this French lady, she's a blogger. She approached us on the internet and said she wanted to pay a visit to China, and then we arranged a tour for her in China, and she's amazed. She said, being an Asian lady is pretty is very happy, especially after this very radical moment in life. So we are really hoping to bring this culture outside of Asia, which we've done that already, but we really wanted to be able to bring this to the less privileged countries in the world.
Now, before I bring in Linda and Ciara about the influencer side, I'd like to segue, because congratulations on St. Bella on your IPO, and we understand you are growing into the different markets and the challenges. Now, you've been using influencers for some time, perhaps some celebrities from China and so forth, and I believe you do have a very extensive client list. So what are the challenges, both cultural and influencer, to actually identify your brand together with the properties like luxury hotels that they stay in? Because I'm assuming that not all of your VIP guests would like to be names. So tell me how challenging can that be, and if there are any celebrities that can say that they use St. Bella in international markets.
Well, actually, 100% of the celebrity that was giving birth in China, also including Hong Kong, was using St. Bella. So I don't need to name anybody, so it's 100%. All of them, they use St. Bella. Recently, the Big Four King, Gok Fu Sing, his wife was given birth, and she stayed with us.
So for the Western audience, Big Four King is actually 4 pop singers. It's not the actual kings of China.
Actual kings. It's very, very famous pop singers in Hong Kong. His wife recently delivered, I think, a few days ago. She stayed with us. So it wasn't challenging for us in Asia because this culture has been around, so that's kind of easy to understand. But when we moved to the US, it's kind of challenging for us because, for example, Americans, they don't understand what confinement is. It was never in their agenda. So we create these buzzwords called the baby honeymoon. So it's
sorry, what was the buzzword?
Baby honeymoon.
Baby honeymoon.
So it's like you're going into a wedding honeymoon. You booked out a luxury hotel, right? You enjoy a really good time with the wife, and after giving birth, you should treat your wife a baby honeymoon, right? In that sense. So you stay in a luxury hotel. You have all this amazing experience with plus healthcare. So we are using this baby honeymoon as a marketing buzzword in the US, and it's proven to be very successful. In a few months, we'll be opening in London, Sydney, Vancouver, and we will be going all out for European countries as well. So it's different. It's because in Asia, we understand what this means, but if you go into a different country, you really have to adopt the locally in terms of the culture and also how we market it.
You're absolutely right. I think the first time I spoke to my wife, and she's actually Middle Eastern, about postpartum confinement. That confinement word really hit home because she said, "What's that?" And I think a baby honeymoon sounds a lot better.
Exactly. We are also approaching celebrities like Taylor Swift and all that, and hopefully we be able to use all the world famous celebrities to experience something like that and to promote. And I think it's a great combination that we have the luxury hotels coming in as a space provider, and people it's very easy for them because it's not for the confinement period. So anytime if the kids gets larger, and then they can always come back and enjoy the services because it's very convenient, and they can also enjoy the luxury experience that the hotel offers.
Again, congratulations on your success. And then moving on, Linda Petrie from Petrie PR founder, can you give us a little bit of summary of your experience and the relationships you have with luxury hotel brands and your work over the many years?
Yeah, thank you, Tak, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I think for us, in terms of our approach for influencer strategy, it's really a focus very much away from broadcast and really focusing on what we term in Petrie PR in our offices in Asia as trust cast. So it's not about the numbers, it's about the quality and the alignment with our clients. You know, do their voices of the influencers that we work with in all the different markets, whether it's China, Indonesia, Singapore, SEA, or Hong Kong, are these voices aligned authentically with our clients? And it's not just about the numbers, it's about the values. You know, are these voices authentic? Do they resonate with the audience that we want to target on behalf of our clients? And I think key to this is that the human factor and being relatable as well, because at the end of the day, it's about targeting for our hospitality clients the right client, the right profile. You know, is that person, is that audience really going to want to come to our clients? So it's a very detailed approach. We really shy away from mass approaches in our agency. It's about that individual direct targeting that makes a huge difference. And I think we have a couple of examples maybe to show, just in terms of peer-to-peer marketing, but also, you know, where we organically capture the audience on behalf of our clients. So hopefully it'll come up on the screen in a moment, and I can just show a few recent examples. But I would just reinforce about that trust factor, you know, where you can really organically and authentically target your audience. It's really important to us.
So naming a few of the brands that you
Yes.
work with, you've got a wealth of experience. So brands such as Aman, Belmond, and Banyan Group are just some of the brands that you work with. How do you identify and vet the micro-influencers to ensure that the storytelling, again aligns with a brand to maintain authenticity while appealing to a sort of a diverse, non-elite audience?
Well, as I mentioned just now, it's about that narrative. I always say keeping it real, making sure that the audience can directly connect. Yeah, I think here are a couple of the slides I wanted to show. This is our client. Well, the backdrop is Aman. I'm sure many of you will be familiar with. In fact, our wonderful Jean-Michel, he's still in the audience, designed Aman. We can just go back to that slide, thank you. But we worked in this example with a Hong Kong-based socialite and influencer, some of you may know her, Antonia Lee, to really tap into her peer-to-peer audience and directly connect with her network. And we speak in great detail with the influencers such as Antonia, with whom we work, to target in terms of the commercial side, direct value through reservations, direct promotional booking codes, so our clients can actually receive and gain from those potential bookings. And we work with Antonia not only in terms of the luxury travel landscape and our hospitality clients, but also in terms of wellness, fitness, longevity obviously is a huge trend right now, and we're very careful to make sure that we work on these collaborations in a very personalized and individualized approach, so we really get that fit right. That's what it's about. It's not about the numbers, the mass. It's about that super personalization, because the majority of our clients are operating or pioneering the luxury lifestyle and luxury space in Asia as a whole, which are the markets in which we operate. Just another example I think we have on the following slide. It also happens to be at an Aman property, but I thought it was a very nice example of organic partnership. This is the Taiwanese-based but internationally renowned influencer Molly Chiang, who actually came with a group of her friends. They booked, they paid, so that was good too. And she wanted to celebrate with her friends, enjoying the incredible desert landscapes you can see at Amanjiri. They traveled and rode on horseback, captured the desert landscape. So it was really pure and organic and natural. And I know from the Amanjiri team, whilst she was there with her friends, they had an uplift of over 10,000 Instagram followers just from these posts alone. And obviously that continued long after her stay. So I think it just goes back to reinforce the point that I made about that precision and the detailing in what we do. We have our own digital teams in all of our offices and partnership managers who are directly cultivating and growing these key relationships in each of the markets. And obviously the approach in China is very different to what it is in Indonesia or Hong Kong or Taiwan, as mentioned.
And how do you sort of balance the risks of influencer fatigue with the need for consistent PR campaigns, especially that nowadays something that an influencer can do can sort of backfire due to a certain statement or something they've done wrong, so crisis management so it doesn't affect the brand. So, and also, what metrics do you prioritize to your efforts in getting that influencer for the hotel brand? Mm-hmm. Is it impressions? Is it
it's a number of things, yes.
Go
and
ahead.
as I said, it's not one approach fits all, and we're very careful as well not to be working with the same influencers and really marrying that individual, or it could be a couple, for example. I have another example to show a bit later, where we can keep that independence, as it were, with that particular client. So in full answer to your question, it's not only about engagement and the numbers. Yes, that's important, but it has to be precisely targeted, as I mentioned. It also needs to have a lifespan, longevity, so it's not just a one-hit wonder. This is going to really kind of penetrate and create return, an authentic return for our clients. And also another point that I think is key is that human factor. Can your audience, in the case of our hospitality clients, can they relate to this? Is it real? And I always say keep it real. I think that's very important. And when you see Molly on horseback,
can we
really
go to the next slide? So for a few more examples, please.
Yeah, well, I've just mentioned, that Molly there on the horseback, it is definitely an authentic example that people can relate to. Just moving to this powerhouse celebrity couple in Indonesia, I think we have some guests from Indonesia in the audience. You may know this couple, Alicia Daguz, and her partner Al Ghazali. He alone has 21 million Instagram followers. In Indonesia, that's not unusual. But we work very organically with our eco-island client, Talong Kalian Reserve in Indonesia, to bring this couple to enjoy time together at the resort, and we had just an incredible uplift. They're very natural, authentic couple, but obviously very well known, particularly in the Indonesian market, and the resort and island had an uplift. I think it was over 1.5 million TikTok followers just from their partnership and collaboration alone, and I think over almost 700,000 gains in Instagram. So again, it goes back to precision, keeping it real, that human factor, and being relatable to the audience is really key.
Great. Well, thank you. Next is Ciara from Soneva, one of my favorite resorts in the Maldives. And congratulations, and thank you so much for coming. Naturally, Soneva's philosophy is no news, no shoes. Yeah. And I think Soneva is one of the first properties that actually have the barefoot paradise motto many years ago. How do you leverage digital tools as well as influencers and social channels to make the experience and the feel of the no news, no shoes, barefoot paradise luxury experience accessible to the mainstream?
Well, there is great beauty in no news, no shoes, and it's a little bit ironic because with no news, no shoes, as you mentioned, our founders at Soneva actually coined the term barefoot luxury, so it's integral to everything we do at Soneva. So barefoot luxury is about you coming to the resorts, you're in these beautiful remote locations, you take off your shoes, you're grounded and you're at one with nature, you disconnect, I'll smile as I say it because I envision myself there, but you're disconnected from the outside world, you're removing yourself from technology, and you're using this as an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, with nature, and with the people that you've brought with you, whether that's family, friends, partners. So that is very difficult to explain or showcase or extend that guest experience beyond these beautiful resorts. I'm smiling because I've been to the resorts. For people who haven't, we need to find creative ways of exploring how they can envision themselves there. So VR definitely plays a big role. It's a fantastic way. We use FPV drones. We create a lot of content. Each of our resorts has on-site photographers and videographers, and then we work with partners to create specific content for specific needs. So FPV drones are a great way of kind of showcasing how it feels to be on the island. Then you need to use really ambient noises and really calm motions. And you know, if I'm in a meeting in London and I allow a potential guest to try that on, they're disconnected for a moment and they can envision what their life would be like if they were at Soneva. The additional tricky part is that sustainability is at the core of everything we do at Soneva. And it is integral to the art, to the design, architecture, every element, the outside bathrooms. It is truly integral, and I say that with passion because I know a lot of sustainability initiatives today have been added on later. However, you know, we removed plastic straws in 1998. We have our own art and glass studio where glass bottles are melted down and created into artwork. But not all of that is sexy. So we have the waste to wealth management where all of the waste is separated and then it's you know, plastic is melted down to create art pieces. So finding unique ways for that content to come across and knowing which social channels you need to use. Some we use for creativity and this is how amazing you're going to feel when you're sliding down the slide into the Indian Ocean. But then Instagram, you know, that would be Instagram or TikTok. But then LinkedIn or Facebook, we can delve a bit more. We can get a bit more educational. We can kind of give people a lot more of the nuances that make Soneva different. So I think it's really knowing which channels that you use for the messaging that you're trying to get across so that you're targeting every potential audience and therefore, to your question, making sure that it's accessible to all demographics.
So your campaign have successfully used micro-influencers to amplify the sort of regenerative narrative for Soneva. What criteria do you use to select the influencers who can authentically connect with that audience for you? So what's your criteria?
The exact same criteria as Linda. So like for us, it's alignment. If you don't align with our brand values, there is absolutely no point in us looking at audience reach, right? So you could have 2 million followers, but you're there to post a picture for virality's sake. That's not going to benefit Soneva. And I would also say, for me, knowing that the brand has been there for 30 years, we have loyal guests and, like yourself, celebrities that pay a lot of money to visit these properties. For us to invite people who don't resonate or speak the brand's emotional values, I actually think it's a disrespect to the paying customers to choose the wrong people. So I would say it's all about alignment, and influence without alignment is merely noise.
What is the statistics of your social media universe, and how many influencers do you use, and how often?
So we use Instagram, we use TikTok, we use LinkedIn, we use Facebook. We have millions of followers across all of them. Our Instagram is our largest channel. As I mentioned, for Instagram, we really focus on the guest experience. You're going to see a lot of user-generated content there. We do have stunning locations, and they're very photographable. So you will have people who come to the Maldives and they want that, you know, historic shot shot of them going down the slide, or they want a particular video or drone of them cycling along the jetty in Soneva Johnny. So we do have these kind of key moments that people are really inclined to post. So in that way, our paying guests in a lot of ways create a lot of our content because they want us to repost them. And as I mentioned, we have photographers and videographers on site. So a guest can come and request a package. So they pay for a package, which includes drone footage, which includes all the social media savvy things that they would need. We share a link with them afterwards, and then they get to be influencers for the day, even if they're not actually influencers. So, and they will always tag us, and they will often give us permission to reuse their content. So for us, that genuine guest experience is far more impactful than any influencer. And I think what's tricky too is we use the word influencer so broadly, whereas you wouldn't call a celebrity per se an influencer. It's like a level above, let's say, an influencer. And then you have a content creator who have an influence. And then we have a lot of KOLs that we work with. And how I would distinguish those is that a KOL is perhaps somebody who doesn't have, a specific desire to be viral, but they have a really strong network. They're probably business people in their own right. And for me, those are the people we should be targeting most when it comes to ultra high net worth individuals and trying to have that impact.
I'm going to ask a curveball question because I think each of you may be using AI in a different type of way that benefits your company and your brand. I don't know if you've heard recently about AI influencers, so artificial influencers that are not human, but they can, they will align with your brand. They could be your brand. But that's just one example. So just a kind of final question just before I go to the end. How is AI benefiting St. Bella? Not just on the influence side, but overall for your clients and so forth?
So in terms of operations, the entire operations system was built upon AI. So every day we collect a lot of data information from our customers.
Give me some numbers, for example.
So how much we spend?
No, the numbers, data gathering,
we collect about 400 different data sets from our customers every day. And then we generate services, preemptive services based on the data we received. For example, if we find out that the customer doesn't sleep well the night before, and in the morning when we come into the room, and we're already providing a solution to them. So the entire operation system was driven by AI. So that's number one. In terms of, like you said, AI influencers, that we've been using AI influencers for a long time because we, other than selling services, we also sell products. So we have AI influencers that were selling our products on the internet 24/7. So we've been using that for a few years now. The results have been pretty good.
Linda?
Yes, and for us, it's definitely there are efficiencies to be benefited from, just in terms of information, content gathering. But at the same time, to balance that, it's a really that individual targeting that I mentioned. So, and we want it to be authentic. So I think it's quite a fine line between going too far on the AI side, but definitely it's helped us be more efficient on the content gathering side. But it is always about remaining kind of true and real and authentic to the companies and brands that we represent.
And Ciara?
Yeah, likewise, I feel AI influencers wouldn't work for us. However, AI is used to enhance the human intuition of our hosts on site. So we don't want to use it to replicate human interaction. We want to use it to enhance it. And there are many examples where personalization is just lost all meaning, right? So you're told that all your details are being tracked, but you just become a data entry point. And I was recently in a hotel in Dubai meeting a friend, and every time he sat at a table, they brought watermelon juice because he had said somewhere in one of his systems that he liked watermelon juice, but they weren't taking into consideration the fact that that was over breakfast and this is dinner. And it's just that, like, what is the use of AI, and are we using it to then suddenly become an SOP and take away that human intelligence?
Good point, very valid. And I think the last question I'd like to ask is, what is luxury for you, Danny?
I've been asked the same question, but my answer remains the same. I think for me, it's time and memories and the brands that are associated with the beautiful memories that defines luxury. So, for example, St. Bella is someone that used once in their lifetime, maybe twice.
Maybe
maybe
more.
more,
Maybe
maybe 3 times.
yeah.
It could be more. But it's rare numbers. So people actually choose us. They want to spend the one of the most memorable time with us. So that itself defines luxury for us.
And Linda.
Yes, and from my point of view, it's difficult to answer in just one word, so I'll add a few more. I think it's definitely about forging those deep connections, really key for many of our clients, and indeed myself, and also about being able to offer those lifetime transformative experiences that you might only get once or twice in your lifetime, but I think in the time that we do have out of our work, that's certainly what I want, and I know many of our clients are offering as well into the market. So that would be my response.
And on the subject of that, I believe we both shared the same time at Soneva, Linda. So
Yes, we did.
let me ask you, Ciara, what is luxury for you?
So for me, luxury is emotional intelligence made tangible. So it's knowing how a guest wants to feel and how I want to feel, and thinking of intuitive ways to get me there that I have not thought about myself. So that's how I would define luxury.
I totally agree, and time for me is also a luxury, and I'd like to thank everybody's time for joining this session, and thank you, Danny,
Thank you.
Linda, and Ciara.
Thank you,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all our panelists, Danny, Ciara, and Linda, and of course, Tachman.